Hey there, hopeful tribe.
Are you queer and trying to get back into dating? We've got 10 dating tips for you.
Yep. So this one applied to me as I was trying to get back in the dating scene. Get help from friends, especially if you haven't been dating for a while. And by that I mean, ask friends where the great places to take people are. Ask them what are fun things to do for a date if you haven't been dating in a while. So get help from friends.
Be direct about what you want. I really appreciated when we first talked on the phone that you asked me if I was interested in a relationship
Yeah.
because uh, so many times when you first meet somebody, you're not really sure what they want. You know what you want, but you're not really sure what they want, and there's this temptation to kind of hedge,
Uh huh.
you know, so that you're going to be likable to them, right? But I think it's actually a better practice to just be direct about what you want, like you were,
Hmm.
because then we knew we were on the same page at the first date. It wasn't like, are we just trying to be friends here?
Yeah. And that's the reason this is specific to queer dating. Really, is sometimes in a heterosexual relationship, I think that can kind of like be a deal breaker. Like there's a lot more riding on it if a person's saying like right away they want a relationship. There might be some fear on one side or the other
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
more often.
In hetero relationships, if you're the woman, I wouldn't recommend, saying, I want a relationship on the first date. That's
Yeah. Yet
probably gonna scare them.
yet I said it on the first phone call, so there you go.
Yeah.
So this one, remember your job, a kind of an epiphany for me when we um, just before we had our first conversation was realizing that my job was not to get you to like me, but to decide whether I liked you. So I think just keeping a focus on that your job is to see if you like them and not try to do anything to make them like you. Like it helps you be more your authentic self and is really important. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Spend lots of time together. This is another one that I think might not work in a hetero relationship because I feel like um, when you spend lots of time with a man early on, they think that you're just not worth very much because you
Mm,
have all this time. So you must not be that valuable or popular or whatever. I don't know what it is.
mm.
There's something about that hetero dynamic that makes this a bad idea. But for queer dating, I highly recommend it because I've learned over the years that really, if you spend lots of time with people, they'll reveal who they really are within a couple weeks because, they just can't help it. We are just who we are, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's dead on the head. The thing about like maybe not counting it as being valuable in a heterosexual relationship, especially like maybe because it is sometimes more about like the dating than the right away thinking about relationships sometimes. This varies between people, but I think so. And I think really that spending a lot of time together in a queer relationship is kind of like, oh, I like them and they like me and this is fun. We're spending a lot of time together. It isn't taken as a negative thing. Respond in kind. And by that I mean just sort of take cues from the way they're doing things, especially if you're in a queer same sex relationship. Sort of if you're in a hetero relationship, if the person, say the guy gets you flowers, well, if you get him flowers back, that might not be seen as something, that's wanted. But if it's two girls, it's kind of like, oh, they send you flowers. It's like, oh, I'll give them flowers. There's more sort of a commonality of like of things that they might like. Like you started sending me love songs, and I was like, oh, I'll send love songs back. So
This one, I think we were really good at. Um, we just did a lot of fun stuff while we were dating and really memorable stuff. Like, I think I can remember up to our 10th date by heart, you know?
yeah, and we were counting them, like, oh, we're on this date, we're on this week, we're on this day of knowing each other. Yeah, we were just really kind of making it really quality time together, not sort of dialing it in, or not kind of just like, oh, yeah, we were just really spending quality time together.
Yeah, in fact, I don't think we did a movie until we were already living together.
It's true. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
We hadn't gone out to a movie. Yeah,
We didn't do any conventional things
yeah,
that people do on dates,
yeah. You
except
can't
for
talk in a movie.
yeah,
Yeah,
except for having meals. We did
yeah.
have lots of amazing meals. So
And I think this one sort of folds into the other one, right? In a way, like waiting to have sex. So at the beginning of our relationship, I said that I wanted to wait to have sex. I wanted us to get to know each other. We're spending a lot of time together. We're creating memories. I think a lot of times sex gets in the way, and it actually will get in the way to make you maybe think that you've fallen in love with them before you have. It kind of complicates things. So yeah, I wanted to wait to have sex. We waited to have sex, and I really fell in love with Sue before we'd even had sex. um yeah, so we waited, you know, I don't know. we waited,
we don't have to say how long.
oh, we waited a little while. We waited a little while. Yeah. We don't say how
Longer
long.
than I'd ever waited.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
yeah.
was pretty good. Discover common interests. Um, I think it's really important in the beginning to figure out what you both like to do,
Mm-hmm.
and just really explore that. I think um, if there aren't enough of those common interests, then it's probably not a go for a long term thing. At least for me, like some people live completely separate lives from their spouses and whatever works for them. But I really like to be with somebody that I can talk about really cool things with, that I'm interested in and they're also interested.
Right, right, right. Yeah, not to say that you can't have your separations for sure, but yeah, it's so fun when it's something that you both geek out about and you're just really digging it and talking about it. So yeah, no, I totally agree with that one. So this one, be authentic. Um, I want to like dial down a little bit on what I mean by that. So I think it's really important, sort of, especially when you're first dating someone, not to kind of do this crazy or this different sort of makeover that makes you like you're not yourself. You sort of, put yourself out there, and you get all this flashy stuff that maybe isn't even comfortable and maybe isn't even like the real you. And then you caught the person, snared them. Then the person, they like you, but they haven't like started liking the real you, and that facade is sort of really hard to hold up. So I did the bare minimum. I did clean up a little bit, but I mean, really just a little bit, because I wanted her to see who I was. I mean, and so I was like, yeah. And then it was awesome because it was like, man, she fell in love with me like this, and then I could even like clean up a little more. But yeah, I just did sort of the bare minimum authentic self, and I thought that was really, really. I think that's really important, so that you're not kind of putting yourself in a you're setting the expectations. You're not putting yourself in into a place where you kind of can't maintain that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of before our first date, I actually thought about putting makeup on because I just started using makeup when I started doing YouTube videos, right? And so I had makeup and I knew that I could make myself look better than I appear without makeup.
She's beautiful without makeup.
And
so gorgeous.
So I thought about it, but then I thought, oh no, you never want to, get too dolled up for the first date because then they're going to expect that all the time.
Yeah.
Just go as you are. Don't even get that dressed up.
Yeah. For the second date, though, she was stunning. I looked and I said, oh my gosh, is that my date? Oh my God. Yeah, she was beautifully stunning. I saw her from a distance. Yeah, so nice.
But see, then I knew you were worth the work. See, I didn't want to really put all kinds of work in there and then have to, first of all, like recreate that every time. And second, like, it might not have even paid off, right? Might have just been a friend thing.
Yeah, it's true.
We didn't know till we met. But then we knew.
Yeah.
Communicate feelings clearly. So I'm a big fan of this. And I think that, again, for hetero relationships, this might not be the smartest way to go for a woman to communicate her feelings clearly. A man could do it probably without risk.
Mhm.
But a woman probably shouldn't in a hetero relationship would give the man too much of an advantage. But and they already have the advantage is my point. But in queer relationships, I think it's really nice to just be clear about how you feel every step of the way.
Mhm.
Um, that way, the other person's not having to deal with all kinds of anxiety as they're going out with you, you know?
Guessing games.
Yeah. Wondering, hoping.
Yeah. I can I say something about this? I love this one because when I was a kid, my mom, her advice to us as we were dating, it was like, don't ever wear your heart on your sleeve. So by that, she sort of meant, like, yeah, don't reveal your true feelings. And so then when I was about 21 was the first time I fell in love, and I fell in love with a woman. And I was like, my mom's advice was so, why did she have that advice? That's just ridiculous advice. And come to realize now, or even before, as I started to get older, oh, that advice was meant for heterosexual women, right? But in a queer relationship, it's like, yeah, it's even important to do it, because yeah, both sides want to know. These have been our 10 tips for queer dating. Thanks a lot, Hopeful Tribe. Oh,
And they definitely worked for us.
they did work for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I love you.
I love you.
We hope you feel loved and hopeful until we see you again. Bye.